Hey everyone, Dr. Red here, and we are back with some more Magic Arena, but a little bit of a twist. Instead of working with our pre-constructed decks and upgrading them, I figured I would just try a more budget-friendly deck that's not necessarily going to be based off any of the pre-builts exactly anyways. And that's how I wound up with Cascade of Goblins. In this case, looking at the deck, we're going to be playing a very low curve. In this case, the majority of our deck is going to be 2-drops with a couple things on the higher end side. Pretty creature heavy, of course, with some spells that are just going to be getting us more creatures on the board and other means. In this case, the premise of this one is we're going to be trying to swing in for lethal as quick as we can, hoping that Cavalcade of Calamity will help us get that extra damage through, even when they do have a bit of a board to block our dudes. In this case, it's an enchantment, cost 2. Whenever a creature we control with the power of 1 or less attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that the creature is attacking. That works perfectly here, because we're going to be attacking with a lot of little dorks. Have a bunch of Fanatical Firebrands, 1/1 haste, that will trigger it. Our Tin Street Dodgers, Goblin Instigators, Goblin Gathering is just going to be getting us a bunch of Goblin tokens. Kranko himself will be triggering it. Not directly, though. Whenever he swings, he gets a 1/1 counter, which will stop it from triggering, but he's just going to keep on spawning more 1/1 tokens, which will trigger it, and that will just cascade into more tokens, more damage to the works. Legion Warboss won't trigger it himself, but he's another renewable way for us to get more 1/1 tokens on the board. Frenzies are our late game pull to hope that we can just keep drawing into more gas with it. Siege Gang Commander is kind of our oh shit. We're going to get a few gobos out of it, and we can basically throw goblins at their face to kill them, ideally. Running a little bit low on the mana side, but since we're playing so many 2-drops, I'm pretty much hoping that the best of 1 hand sorting algorithm will get us by with running a little bit less land than usual. Now, what makes this budget-friendly-ish deck is just the fact that it's the premise of any monocolor deck here. We don't have to spend, let's just say, on average, like 16 rare wild cards just on the rare dual lands and the check lands when you're dealing with Dimir or Orzhov, and don't even get me started on Esper control variants of that sort. We just run in mountains. You got as many of those as you need. As far as actual rare wild cards you will need, there's Siege Gang Commander, you're going to need a couple there, a couple for Frenzy, 2 for Warboss, Kranko. In this case, I think we top out at 10 rare wild cards, and those are substitute. Uncommons, though, it can be a little bit hungry. We're running the full 4 Flame of Keld. That's 4 wild cards there. I think you get a Lightning Strike from one of the pre-builts. Not sure how many, but hopefully enough to cover the 2 we're using. Cavalcade itself is another 4 of. Tin Street Dodger is one I subbed in all honesty. Originally, I took the premise of this deck off of MTG Goldfish and tweaked it a little bit with some new cards, aka Kranko, that came in. I swapped Tin Street Dodger for I think it was something Kirk, when I can pull that up real quick. The Skirk Prospector, I felt like getting the little bit more aggression makes up for not having the ability to generate more mana for our more expensive cards. I'm hoping, again, that we can kind of abuse the best of 1 hand sorting algorithms here and not rely on that. Because that extra 1 damage that we get from the Tin Street Dodger, that is potentially renewable with its pay 1 red mana to make it unblockable, might be able to swing the game in our favor. On top of that, a few things I've also changed with it is I removed one of the Siege Gang Commanders, cut a mountain, and added a bunch of Kranko, because I love this card. If he gets to swing once or twice and we actually have Cavalcade out, it's just straight money. I love it. As per usual, our board's going to be pretty weak to sweepers. Cry of the Carnarium's going to destroy us. Hopefully Kaya's Wrath is a little bit too slow for them to do anything. But yeah, let's get a couple games under our belt. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're up in a game against Novu 3. Let's see how our hand is looking. We do have everything we could possibly want on curve. We can curve right into Warboss, followed by Flame of Keld after getting Dodger and Calamity out, and we're on the play, which is fantastic for us here. We're going to start just with the Tin Street Dodger to begin with. Has haste, we're just going to ping him in the face for 1. Let's see what colors we are up against here, though. Targeting our Dodger. Not too many people are playing this card, so... Okay, he's getting a Footlight Fiend down. Alrighty. So in this case, let's see what we want to do. I think we are fine trading as long as we get our Calamity out. Swing. So this swing is essentially going to be guaranteed 1 damage. They're going to trade their Fiend for ours, but we're going to get our War Boss out next turn, which will be swinging with another Goblin. Dread Horde Butcher for opponents coming out. That's a pretty scary card in all honesty. When it dies, it does as much damage as it has power to you. Not fun. Not too happy with drawing into another Flame of Keld, because we're going to end up dumping one of them, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. So the Goblin token that comes out of our War Boss is forced to attack the turn it's summoned. Either way, we're getting another 2 damage in. Curious if we want to try to race the Butcher. Depends on what he does here. He's getting a Judith out, probably going to swing in. Ah, no, he's holding it back then. But what we can do is get a little bit greedy. We have another War Boss coming out. We're going to be able to swing in with 3 Goblins this turn. And I think I'm going to want to do that, because that is guaranteed 3 damage getting through here. Plus the 1 that wouldn't be blocked. And these Legion War Bosses are going to keep generating that value. They're going to be spitting out 2 more Goblins every turn. Plus other Goblins we get in play from Goblin Gathering, Flame of Keld. All depends on what opponent has for interaction here. Running a Tajik here. A Hasty Boy, see if he wants to hit our face. No, he's holding his people back a little bit more. So let's see what we can get. We can get a couple more, or at least 1 Goblin out. With Goblin Gathering, the shtick is it creates a number of red Goblin tokens equal to 2 plus the number of Goblin Gatherings in your graveyard. So this card gets better the more of them you've ended up using. But for now, we're just going to be getting 2 Goblins for 3, so it's not super efficient at that price point. Calamity triggers 3 times, they're down to 7. Of course, they can block all of our Gobos here, but we're still going to be able to basically keep doing this turn after turn after turn after turn. So yeah, like next turn we're going to be swinging in for 4. With these 2 Goblins we already have out. Let's see if they want to hold back blockers. I'm not too concerned about taking 4 damage just off Tajik here. Getting a Hero Precinct 1 out, so this will be good for generating them some more board presence. They're going to play another Tajik. It's going to get rid of this one, but they're also going to get a 1/1 token that's getting the bonus from Judith out. And they are going to sadly use that, it looks like, to the death trigger here to deal with one of our Goblins on board. Through into another land, so we're sitting at 4. I'm trying to figure out what's our best value proposition here, because Krenko's not going to be doing too much for us, just because they have enough on board just to deal with him. So I think we're just going to Flame of Keld, because we wouldn't have the mana to play Krenko and Keld this turn anyways. As per usual, we're just going to keep swinging. Going to get another 3 damage off. Sadly, on the trigger where we draw 2 cards, we potentially have lethal this turn coming up. All depending on if we end up drawing a Shock, a Lightning Bolt, the works in that one. Of course, they're just going to be chumping here. We just have to make sure they can't quite swing us for lethal here. They're sitting on 2 cards. Heroic Reinforcements is definitely a problem, so we are being forced to block here. There's a decent chance that we die. Because that is quite the board. Let's see, what do we need to block? We have to... Dread Horde... If we don't kill Dread Horde, it's fine. I think this might be lethal. I'm not mathing it out. But we're just going to GG our opponent because it looks like it's going to be. Ooh, yeah, by quite a bit. You know, not the strongest showing, but at least it was a little bit fun. If we had another turn in us, or could have made it through. Okay, so we're in our next game now with Toblakai. We have a decently aggressive hand. Downside is we are on the draw. I'm okay with this. We can turn 1 Tin Street, turn 2 Tin Street. Let's see what their board looks like. I'd love to see a Cavalcade show up. There we go. So we're just clocking them for 1. They are playing Watery Grave, which is a bit scary. It makes me think Dimir. It makes me think Rakdos, which I feel like most variants of Rakdos Control right now are running Cries of the Carnarium, a lot of single target removal. So let's see what they want to do here. Probably going to remove one of our boys. Yeah. Iron Scorn. Creature with cost of 3 or less are able to destroy. Sadly, that's, I think, basically the entirety of our deck minus the 2 cards at the top end. Have a Goblin Gathering available to us. Same thing with Legion Warboss. Legion Warboss gets the damage in now. Pranko is cool, but let's see what they have. They're holding up something at instant speed. They technically made a slight misplay here. It's an issue with the arena doesn't put a hold between combat phase. So as soon as he saw me playing that, if he went to full control, he would have been able to kill my Legion Warboss before it was even able to make that token. Which might not seem that much, but if he loses by 1 health, 2 health, the works, opponent might be decently frustrated with that. Let's see. Doesn't look like he has any instant speed options just because there's no holds happening. I think I might just try to get my Krenko resolved here. I'd still love to see my Cavalcade show up at some point soon. What do you have? Nickel Bolus, Dragon God, okay. Now what are you gonna do with your Bolus, my friend?
Remake the multiverse in my
That's fair.
image. Your existence is pointless.
He's a very loud Dragon Lord who's about to get punched by a Goblin. Okay, let's see how this goes for our boy Bolus. Feels bad having to use a Bolus on Goblins, I'm not gonna lie. I feel for our opponent here.
Other schemes to attend to.
So what we're going to do is Goblin Gathering. Depending on what they do on their turn, we might just Lightning Strike and then try to refill our hand with Flame of Keld, playing whatever else we draw. That's another Bolus Dragon God, okay.
All will bow before Nicole Bola.
So we are going to get rid of one of our tapped
I will
mountains.
return one day. I outsmarted you eons ago.
Pass, my turn. We're going to Lightning Strike him, get him down, so we only need to basically tickle him to get rid of him. And now we're just going to hope that he doesn't have an instant speed reaction to or interaction with us with a singular untapped mana here. So we've gotten rid of 2 Bolus Dragon Gods. And I'm going to be greedy here. Flame of Keld is probably the better play, but you know what? Getting 3 more Goblins out is the fun play. See, we have 3, 4, 5, 7 damage on board right now. There's a good chance he has a sweeper. Ah, that's a shame. He's going to get rid of our Flame of Keld, which is frustrating. So probably should have played that. Didn't catch if he prevailed to the top. Looks like he did, because there's nothing in his graveyard now. So we have access to another Angry Boy. Building a counter. Don't think of any instant speed board wipes, but he does have a Contempt for our Firebrand, which, well, annoying. He's going to heal up a little bit, but he's still getting clocked for 7 this turn. We're both in top deck mode, and I have a full board out. So there's a few cards that can definitely pull him back in. I don't think Liliana necessarily saves him. He's going to make us sacrifice a couple creatures here. Okay, do we have lethal on board? No, we are 1 shy. So we are going to get rid of their Liliana here. There we go. Let's just get that attack set up. We have the 2 damage going to them. So we've eaten through 2 boluses, a Liliana, just with our little rinky-dinky goblins here. Opponent's down to 3 life. Ah, and he drew what he needed. He had the Cry of the Carnarium. Okay. We do have options to, or ways to get rid of him. In this case, it doesn't put him on a clock for 2 turns because we're going to be getting him down to 1 potentially. See what opponent has. Auto Erasure, he's going to be trying to surveil, find what he wants. Whatever it was he kept on top. See if he has any instant speed interaction, and hopefully we can just resolve this frenzy here. Ah, no, of course he had a negate. That could have definitely forced us back into the game. He needs to remove both goblins this turn. Or just one with Vraska's Contempt. Okay, he's back in it. Now we're drawing into land. It's not what we want to be seeing. But opponent's dead to a shock, opponent's dead to a hasty goblin. There's a lot in here that kills opponent. Not a mountain though, that doesn't quite do the job. What did you, oh, and we got him. He couldn't quite draw what he needed. Fantastic, that's what I want to see. Okay, so we're in another game against Flablo. Flablo? And let's see what our hand is looking like. We have Tin Street. We don't really have a 2-drop. We have all the land we'll need for most things, and we have a couple war bosses. So I think I'm okay with keeping this hand. I feel like with the best of 1 format, I'm not quite used to mulliganing aggressively. Just trying to fish for that Cavalcade or something as a 2-drop. So as usual, someone's looking at the card. Not many people are playing Dodger. So let's see. I think we might end up shocking the Gutter Bones here. We'll see what they do on their turn. Of course, we have instant speed reaction or interaction here, so yeah, let's just get that little Gutter Bones out of our way. He's able to recur it, but he has to do damage to us and spend some mana to get that back. Orzhov something or other. Alright. So we are going to whip out our Legion War Boss here. And I'm fine. If he wants to trade with the Dodger, all the power to him. He's targeting our War Boss. I have a feeling he has some sort of removal coming up, but the good thing about this deck, there's not too much thinking you have to do. It's basically turn your creatures right or to the right, and everything will hopefully go okay for you. Now, we didn't have mana open, so we are just going to shock on our turn, just to get rid of the Midnight Reaper. We are also going to get the opportunity to play another Legion War Boss. And of course, we are able to swing with the War Boss. They don't have a blocker for it. Mentor up. This won't be triggering our Cavalcade, but obviously we don't have that out right now, so that's not super relevant. Does he have a response to our somewhat intimidating board? Double War Boss. If he lets me untap with both of these, this is going to be kind of hilarious. He could be running a board wipe, though. He has mana for Akaya's Wrath. Playing a Gutter Bones untapped. Targeting my 1 War Boss, which I'm a little sad about. But we can double Tin Street here. This is kind of fun. And of course, we are going to swing in with our entire board. We're going to attack with you. Don't want to attack with just one. It's a little bit iffy because with the forced attack trigger on one of our goblins, you just smash that button, you might attack with just 1 creature. That sucks. And we're going to mentor up one of our Dodgers just because we have the potential to make those guys unblockable. An opponent is down to 2 life. Okay. So we have him on the ropes. Does he scoop right now? Could have a Cry, a Massacre Girl coming up if he makes his land drop. Oh no, he goes out on his own terms. Respect. Okay, so figured we can squeeze in another game, and we are up against Kuwasu. Now, I don't really like this hand. We don't really have any early interaction. We're 2 mountains and a Siege King commander we might not end up playing depending on how the game goes. So this hand's looking like a mulligan hand for sure. Opponent's deciding what they want to do. Thinking about it. Looks like he kept his full 7. This hand is playable. We'll see how this goes. It's a matter of, do I want to keep a mountain on top? We'll see how our land drops go. If we can curve into Frenzy, cool, we might keep it. If we don't, we can just Flame of Keld and dump it. So I'm fine with this for the time being. We are on the draw, so let's see. Opponent's playing, at the very least, Azorius. Possibly an Esper control, Esper mid-range. Won't know until we actually see it. Oop, it's Esper something. Ah, the Thought Erasure. Do they Flame of Keld or do they Frenzy? I'm gonna guess Frenzy. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, that's what he's gonna get rid of. Oh, Flame of Keld, okay. He might just hold counter magic up for when we try to resolve our Frenzy. He probably, if he doesn't have an Azcanta in hand already, he might just be thinking it's too slow against an aggro matchup. We are able to resolve our Cavalcade, so all of our little weenies here are just going to be swinging in for 2 damage, essentially. Is he going to mortify that? It's looking like it. Ooh, no, he's gonna cry. It feels bad, though, using a cry on a singular goblin. That's a 3-mana card. You get rid of a 1-mana card, and then I just whip out 2 tokens that are basically just as strong. He knows I'm holding shock. That's the thing that I'm curious about here. I'm not gonna let opponent just play Thief of Sanity. I might be playing into Akaya's here a little bit, but I would like to get these down. If he's running Thief, I wouldn't be expecting him to run that many board wipes, because those, of course, would hit his own cards, but I've seen weirder things. He's holding up counter mana. Looks like opponent is getting a little mana screwed here. He might have counter magic up. Will he stop the Firebrand? He will absorb it. He'll heal up a little bit, but that's just a bit more likely for our Frenzy to actually resolve. We get 4 Cavalcade triggers, followed by them swinging for 4. We're hitting for 8 each turn. If he has no interaction with us on this turn, we win. He could wipe the board right now, though. No, he can't. He doesn't have Wrath mana. Smart money's on not playing this. But, oh, I just really want to see all those Cavalcade triggers. Come on, buddy. Don't... Ah, he scoops. Okay, well, I guess that is how it is. Opponent got a little bit mana screwed for a control variant, but I'll take my win over Esper whenever I can. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to wrap it up with that one tonight, guys. Sorry about the day gap. Life got in the way. Tried doing some equivalent to this with, like, the mono green Stompy, but just wasn't really having any luck with that. Of course, hey, like if you liked it. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down button. That is fine. Leave comments if you'd like to do some deck suggestions, and subscribe, because what else would I do it for other than cool fake internet numbers? Yeah, I'm Dr. Rhett, and I'll catch y'all next time. Bye for now, everybody!